The stars dimmed one by one across the Orion Arm, not from natural causes, but from something far more sinister. The Vexari had come, and with them, only death followed. For 20 Earth years, they moved through space like a plague of locusts. The insect-like aliens stripped planets bare, consumed resources, and left nothing alive. Their ships, part living organism and part machine, traveled in massive swarms that darkened skies and jammed communication signals. Hive Commander Xtraza watched from the central chamber of the mothership as another world fell. The blue-green planet below had once been home to a peaceful race of amphibious beings. Now it was just another conquest. Resistance has ceased, reported a drone worker, its mandibles clicking with satisfaction. Harvesting units deployed. Xtraza's compound eyes reflected the destruction below. In 50 planetary conquests, none had presented a true challenge. The hive mind shared all knowledge instantly. Any tactic used against them once became useless forever after. Genetic material secured. Resource extraction at 65%, the drone continued. Xtraza felt the collective satisfaction of the hive. Another world to strengthen them. Another species whose useful traits would be absorbed into the collective. The weak would be consumed, the strong assimilated. This was the way of the Vexari since they first left their home world. Set course for the next system, Xtraza commanded. Long-range scouts report a mining colony. Small, but rich in rare elements. The great ship turned, its organic hull pulsing as it prepared for faster-than-light travel. Behind it, smaller ships continued their grim work, stripping the conquered world of anything valuable. 3 weeks later, alarms blared throughout the small mining operation on Proxima Centauri IV. Emergency lights flashed red as miners rushed to the central hub. Confusion turned to panic as the first reports came in. "They've destroyed the outer defense satellites," said the security chief, her face pale with fear. "Whatever they are, there's hundreds of them." Dr. Alan Winters rushed to the communication station. As the colony's lead scientist, he had studied reports of similar attacks on remote outposts. No one had believed him when he warned about a pattern of disappearing colonies. "We need to send a message to Earth," he insisted, pushing past the station operator. "This isn't a random pirate attack." The main screens showed the approaching swarm. Ship after ship, moving together like insects defending their nest. The first mining platforms on the colony's outer moon had already gone silent. "There's no time for evacuation," the colony director said, his voice cracking. "Get as many people to the emergency bunkers as possible." Alen worked frantically at the communication console. The colony's small transmitter wasn't designed for direct communication with Earth, over 4 light-years away. He would need to boost the signal and hope it reached a UDC relay station. The first explosions rocked the building. Dust fell from the ceiling as the lights flickered. "Incoming message," said the communication officer. They're demanding our surrender." On the screen, a creature appeared. Insect-like, with multiple compound eyes and a hard exoskeleton. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked and scraped. "Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own," it said in strangely perfect English. "Resistance will only decrease your value to us." Ellen finished encoding his message as screams echoed from the corridor. The door to the communication room buckled inward as something powerful slammed against it. "Message sent," Alan said, hitting the final command. He had no way of knowing if anyone would receive it, understand it, or even care. But he had to try. The door exploded inward. Chittering forms poured through the opening, moving with terrible speed on multiple legs. Alan grabbed a plasma cutter from a nearby workbench and prepared to make his final stand. At Earth's United Defense Coalition headquarters, Admiral Peter Garrison deleted another report without reading it fully. Another conspiracy theory about aliens attacking remote colonies. He had real threats to worry about. Border disputes with the Mars colonies, pirates hitting supply lines. The message from Proxima Centauri IV was filed away. One more unread warning in a database full of false alarms. No one would see it until it was far too late. Captain Samantha Reeves stood on the bridge of the U.S. Valiant, watching as her crew ran final system checks. The ship hummed with power, its engines ready, its weapons primed. After 5 years of development, the Valiant was finally ready for its first real mission. "Status report," she said, her voice calm despite the tension she felt. Lieutenant Jack Morrison looked up from his tactical console. "All weapons systems online, Captain. The new pulse cannons are calibrated and ready." Jack was young for his position, but his unconventional thinking had earned him this spot. In simulations, he had beaten veteran officers with strategies no one had considered before. "Engineering reports all systems green," said Commander Elena Rodriguez through the ship's comm system. "Though I still think these engine modifications need more testing." Elena's voice carried her usual note of frustration. As chief engineer, she demanded perfection from her machines and her team. She had fought against the rushed launch order, insisting they needed another month of tests. "Thank you, Commander," Samantha replied. "We'll be careful with her." The Valiant was unlike any ship humanity had built before. Its hull contained a new alloy that could absorb and redirect energy. Its engines used experimental technology that allowed for faster-than-light travel with half the normal power consumption. Most importantly, it carried weapons that no human enemies had ever faced. Dr. Liam Bradley entered the bridge, his tablet filled with data from his lab. As the ship's xenobiologist, his role had seemed unnecessary to many. Until now. "Captain, I've analyzed the fragments of data from the Proxima Centauri transmission," he said. "If these readings are accurate, we're not dealing with any known species." Samantha nodded. 3 more colonies had gone silent in the past week. The UDC had finally admitted there might be a real threat, not just equipment failures or pirate activity. "What do we know about them?" she asked. "Not much," Liam admitted. The message mentioned insect-like beings, highly coordinated, with technology that's part biological. They seem to harvest resources completely, strip mining planets until nothing valuable remains. The ship's communication officer interrupted. "Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Garrison." The main screen lit up with the Admiral's stern face. "Captain Reeves, the situation has escalated. We've lost contact with the Aldrin colony. That's too close to Earth for comfort." Samantha straightened her uniform. "The Valiant is ready for deployment, sir." "Good, because you're all we have right now. The rest of the fleet is scattered across the system dealing with the Mars situation." The Admiral looked tired, the weight of his earlier dismissal of the threat now evident in the lines on his face. "Your orders are to investigate, evaluate the threat, and report back. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary." "Understood, sir." "The Valiant may be advanced, but it's just one ship. Remember that, Captain." After the transmission ended, Samantha turned to her crew. "Set course for the Aldrin colony. Maximum speed." In the ship's marine bay, Sergeant Maya Phillips inspected her squad's equipment one last time. Her team of 12 Marines represented Earth's finest soldiers, each chosen for their skills and adaptability. "Check your new armor seals," she ordered. "These suits are supposed to adapt to different environments, but they haven't been field tested." One of her soldiers looked nervous. "Do you think the rumors are true? About whole colonies being wiped out?" Maya checked the power cell on her pulse rifle. "I don't know, but if they are, we'll be ready." The Valiant broke orbit, its engines flaring as it accelerated to speeds few human ships had achieved. On the bridge, Samantha watched the stars blur. "Lieutenant Morrison, review all combat scenarios involving multiple attackers," she ordered. "Commander Rodriguez, I want those engines pushed to their limits. We need to reach Aldrin before whatever hit Proxima Centauri gets there." Jack nodded. "Already working on it, Captain." If these things really do operate like insects, they might have the same weaknesses. Hive minds can be predictable. In her ready room, Samantha studied what little information they had. The grainy images from Proxima Centauri showed shadows of ships, strangely organic in appearance. The final transmission from Dr. Alan Winters played on loop. They move as one, like they share a single mind, harvesting everything, adapting to our defenses. The message ended with screams and static. The Valiant raced through space, humanity's best hope against an enemy they barely understood. As Captain Reeves returned to the bridge, she knew they were heading into darkness, carrying Earth's future with them. The U.S. Valiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Aldrin system. Captain Samantha Reeves ordered immediate activation of the ship's experimental stealth systems. The Valiant's hull shimmered as light-bending technology made it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Long-range scanners active. Jack Morrison reported from Tactical. Getting readings now. His voice faltered. Captain, you need to see this. The main view screen showed a horrifying scene. The fourth planet in the system, home to the Aldrin colony, was surrounded by hundreds of alien vessels. They moved in perfect formation, like a swarm of insects protecting their queen. The planet's surface glowed with fires visible even from orbit. Life signs? Samantha asked, her voice tight. Dr. Bradley checked his console. Very few human signatures remaining. But there's something else. He adjusted his instruments. The aliens are systematically moving across the planet's surface. They're harvesting. Elena Rodriguez entered the bridge, her uniform stained with coolant fluid. The stealth systems are stable, but I don't know for how long. We've never tested them in actual field conditions. Samantha nodded. Keep us hidden. We need to observe before we make our presence known. For the next 6 hours, the crew of the Valiant watched in silence as the aliens stripped the colony. Mining equipment was disassembled and absorbed into their ships. Resources were extracted with terrible efficiency. Most disturbing were the containers being loaded onto the larger vessels, containers sized perfectly for human bodies. Jack studied the aliens' movement patterns. They're communicating constantly. Look at how they adjust to each other without delay. He tapped commands into his console. I'm picking up signal patterns across multiple frequencies. It's like they're sharing a nervous system. Can you decode it? Samantha asked. Not yet, but I'm starting to see patterns. Dr. Bradley joined Jack at his station. If they operate as a collective consciousness, they might be vulnerable to disruption of that network. In engineering, Elena noticed something unusual about the alien ships. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from their propulsion systems. They're using some kind of organic-mechanical hybrid technology. Meaning? Meaning they might have weaknesses that purely mechanical systems don't have. All organic systems have resonant frequencies, points where the right sound or energy wave can cause disruption. Samantha considered this information. Keep working on it. I want options. A sudden alert sounded from Jack's console. Captain, a group of smaller vessels is breaking off from the main fleet. They're heading toward an escape pod launching from the planet's surface. On the screen, a tiny human escape vessel desperately tried to outrun 5 alien pursuit craft. The pod jinked and weaved through debris, but the alien ships adjusted perfectly to every maneuver. There are 12 human life signs on that pod, Dr. Bradley reported. Samantha gripped her command chair. Orders were to observe only. Engaging would reveal their presence and potentially bring the entire alien fleet down on them. But 12 lives. Tactical options, she asked Jack. We could hit the pursuing craft with targeted pulse cannon fire. Our position gives us a clean shot. Jack looked up at her. But they'll know we're here. Samantha stood. Sergeant Phillips, prepare a rescue team. Lieutenant Morrison, target the alien pursuit craft. Commander Rodriguez, be ready to give us everything the engines have. Captain, Elena warned, revealing ourselves to save 12 people could endanger billions back home. I know. Samantha watched the desperate chase on the screen. But if we can't save 12 people right in front of us, what are we even fighting for? She took a deep breath. Drop stealth. Target alien pursuit craft. Fire when ready. The Valiant's stealth field dissolved as its weapons systems came online. On Jack's command, brilliant blue energy beams lanced across space, striking the first alien ship with perfect accuracy. It exploded in a burst of organic and mechanical debris. The other pursuit craft immediately broke off their chase, turning to face this new threat. For the first time, the perfect coordination of the aliens seemed to falter as they processed the appearance of an unknown vessel. In the massive Hive ship at the center of the alien fleet, Hive Commander Xkraza received the alarm signal. Something had appeared, something that had destroyed one of their vessels with a single shot. The collective consciousness rippled with something the Vexeri rarely experienced. Surprise. Xkraza's mandibles clicked rapidly. All vessels converge on the new threat. Identify. Analyze. Destroy. The hunt had just become more interesting. Evasive maneuvers. Captain Samantha Reeves ordered as the alien pursuit ships changed course and headed straight for the Valiant. Get that escape pod aboard, now. Jack Morrison's fingers flew across his tactical console. 2 more pulse cannon shots disabled another alien vessel, but the remaining 3 continued their approach, undeterred by the loss of their companions. Tractor beam locked on the escape pod. Elena reported from engineering. Bringing them in now. Sergeant Maya Phillips and her Marine squad rushed to the docking bay, weapons ready. Be prepared for anything, she warned her team. We don't know if those things followed the survivors aboard. The escape pod's hatch opened with a hiss of equalizing pressure. 12 haggard colonists stumbled out, their faces marked with exhaustion and terror. A woman in a torn mining uniform stepped forward. Chief Engineer Diane Foster, Aldrin Colony, she said, her voice hoarse. Thank you for the rescue, but you need to get out of here. Those things, they're everywhere. Medical team to docking bay, Maya called through her comm unit. We've got survivors who need attention. On the bridge, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. Captain, 20 more enemy vessels breaking away from the main fleet, Jack reported. They're on an intercept course. Samantha nodded. Get us out of here, maximum speed. Set course for the asteroid field at the edge of the system. The Valiant's engines flared as the ship accelerated away from the planet. Behind them, the alien ships gave chase, moving with unnerving precision. They're fast, Elena warned through the ship's communication system. But their coordination gives me an idea. Permission to try something with the resonance theory. Do it, Samantha ordered. In the ship's lab, Dr. Bradley worked frantically to analyze a sample of material recovered from the destroyed alien vessel. Under his microscope, the strange substance revealed itself to be part mechanical, part biological. Fascinating, he murmured. These cells are still active, still trying to communicate with the main collective. The ship shuddered as alien weapons fire grazed their shields. Shields at 80%, Jack reported. We can't outrun them all. Elena's voice came through the comm again. Captain, I've modified one of our rear deflector arrays to emit a targeted energy pulse at what I believe is the resonant frequency of their propulsion systems. It's ready to test. Fire when ready, Commander. A wave of energy, invisible to the human eye, pulsed from the Valiant's rear deflectors. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then 3 of the pursuing alien ships suddenly veered off course, their organic mechanical engines temporarily disrupted. It worked, Elena exclaimed. Not as effectively as I'd hoped, but it bought us some time. The Valiant reached the asteroid field and plunged in, using the massive rocks as cover. The remaining alien ships followed more cautiously, clearly less comfortable in the chaotic environment. In the medical bay, Dr. Bradley interviewed the survivors while they received treatment. Tell me everything you saw, he urged. Any detail could help us fight them. Diane Foster's eyes were haunted. They took people alive. Not all of them, but the strongest ones. We saw them being loaded into containers, and later, she swallowed hard. Later we saw things that looked like the aliens but moved like humans, like they had somehow merged them. Assimilation, Dr. Bradley said grimly. They're incorporating useful biological traits from conquered species. On the bridge, Jack had a breakthrough with the alien communication signals. Captain, I've isolated their primary command frequency. It's like their version of our bridge communications, but it connects their entire fleet. Can we disrupt it? Not yet, but I can listen in. Jack adjusted his equipment. They're calling us an anomaly, a deviation. They've never encountered our weapon technology before. Samantha smiled grimly. Good. Let's make sure they remember this encounter. In the asteroid field, the Valiant played a deadly game of hide and seek with the alien pursuit ships. When one came too close, they emerged just long enough to fire their pulse cannons before disappearing behind another massive rock. Sergeant Phillips led a team to examine debris collected from the destroyed alien vessels. These armor plates, she noted, they're like nothing I've seen before. Half-grown, half-built. In the command chamber of the main high ship, Skatraza reviewed the data from the pursuit craft. This human vessel used technology the Vexari had never encountered. Its weapons cut through their biomechanical hulls with ease. Most disturbing was the resonance attack, evidence that the humans had already identified a weakness. Adapt, Skatraza commanded the fleet collective. Begin modifying our propulsion systems to resist resonance attacks. Prepare hunter-killer units. This human ship must be captured intact. Their technology will make excellent additions to our own. The hive mind acknowledged the command. Across the fleet, the process of adaptation began immediately. The humans had surprised them, but no species had ever surprised the Vexari twice and survived. 3 days passed as the Valiant played its dangerous game of cat and mouse in the asteroid field. The crew worked in shifts, snatching moments of sleep between alert sirens. On the bridge, Captain Samantha Reeves studied the tactical display, showing the positions of the alien vessels still searching for them. They're adapting, Jack Morrison said, pointing to the screen. Look at their search pattern now compared to yesterday. They're becoming more efficient at clearing sectors. Samantha nodded. We can't stay hidden forever. We need to take the initiative. In engineering, Elena Rodriguez had turned a storage bay into a makeshift laboratory. Parts from the destroyed alien ships were spread across tables as she and her team studied them. The biological components regenerate even when separated from the main structure, she told Dr. Bradley, who watched a piece of alien technology pulse under a scanner. But they need the collective connection to know what to become. Like stem cells waiting for instructions, Bradley said. Fascinating and terrifying at the same time. Elena held up a small device she had constructed. I've improved the resonance emitter. It should affect their ships more effectively now, but we'll need to get closer to use it. On the command deck, Samantha called her senior officers together. We can't return to Earth yet, not without more information about what we're facing, and we can't let the aliens know where Earth is. So what's the plan? Maya Phillips asked. The Marine surgeon had barely slept, spending most of her time training her squad with the new information about the aliens' biology. We fight back, Samantha said simply. Not just defense, but offense. We hit their supply lines, disrupt their communications, and gather intelligence. Jack looked up from his tablet. I've identified several smaller outposts they've established on moons and asteroids throughout this sector. They seem to be processing stations for the resources they harvest. Perfect targets, Samantha said. Commander Rodriguez, is your improved resonance weapon ready for deployment? Elena nodded. Yes, but it has limited range. We'll need to get close. Then that's exactly what we'll do. Samantha turned to the display screen showing the nearest alien outpost. We'll strike here first. A quick hit-and-run attack. In the medical bay, Dr. Bradley spoke with Diane Foster, who had recovered enough to help with their plans. You worked in mining operations, he said. What weaknesses would you look for in their processing centers? Diane studied the scans of the alien outpost. Resource processing always has the same basic requirements, no matter who's doing it. They'll need power distribution nodes, storage facilities, and transport systems. She pointed to several structures. These look like power relays. Hit them, and the whole facility goes dark. The Valiant moved silently through the asteroid field, its stealth systems active again after Elena's repairs. They approached the small alien outpost built on a moon orbiting a gas giant. Just 20 alien ships guarded this facility, much more manageable than the hundreds at Aldrin Colony. In the ship's briefing room, Maya prepared her Marine squad. We board, we plant the resonance devices at the designated points, and we leave. No heroics. No delays. One of her Marines, Private Ben Owen, checked his weapon nervously. Will our normal guns work against them? Aim for the head area where their neural clusters are located, Maya explained. Dr. Bradley thinks that will disrupt their connection to the hive mind. The Valiant dropped out of stealth mode just long enough to fire its pulse cannons at the outpost's defensive systems. As alarms blared across the alien facility, Maya and her team launched in a boarding shuttle, using the confusion as cover. On the bridge, Jack monitored the alien communications. They're calling for reinforcements, but the nearest large group is 10 minutes away at their top speed. Perfect, Samantha said. Commander Rodriguez, jam their long-range signals. Let's isolate this group. Inside the alien facility, Maya and her team moved swiftly through strange corridors that seemed to pulse with life. They encountered alien workers, insect-like beings that moved with perfect coordination until the Marines fired their weapons. When hit, the aliens seemed to lose direction, stumbling endlessly. The neural disruption is working, Maya reported back to the ship. We're proceeding to the central processing area. What they found there made even the hardened Marines pause. Human bodies, or parts of them, were being dissected and studied. Alien scientists moved from table to table, extracting samples and injecting them into growing pods along the walls. They're using us as raw materials, Maya said, her voice tight with anger. Using our DNA to improve themselves. Plant the devices and get out, Samantha ordered through the comm. The reinforcements are coming faster than we expected. Maya set the timer on the resonance device. As her team retreated to their shuttle, she took one last look at the facility. This is just the beginning, she promised quietly. You started this war. We're going to finish it. The Valiant's success against the alien outpost boosted the crew's morale. Over the next 2 weeks, they struck 5 more Vexari installations, each time refining their tactics and gathering more intelligence. But they weren't the only ones learning. They're evolving their defenses, Jack Morrison reported during a briefing. The last facility had shields that were partially resistant to our pulse cannons. Captain Samantha Reeves nodded grimly. We knew they would adapt. We need to stay one step ahead. The ship had taken damage during their most recent raid. Engineers worked around the clock making repairs while Elena continued her research on the alien technology. Captain, you need to see this, Dr. Bradley called from the science lab. I found something unexpected in the debris field near the 4th planet. When Samantha arrived, Bradley showed her his discovery on the main screen. It's a ship, but not Vexari design. It appears to be from a completely different species. Survivors? Samantha asked. Possibly. I'm detecting faint power signatures and what might be life support systems. The Valiant changed course, approaching the damaged alien vessel cautiously. It was smaller than their ship, with a sleek design that suggested advanced technology. No response to standard hailing frequencies, Jack reported from Tactical. Try all bands, Samantha ordered. They might not use the same communication systems we do. After several attempts, the view screen flickered. A face appeared, humanoid but clearly alien, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. You, not Vexari, the alien said in halting English. How possible? Samantha stepped forward. I'm Captain Samantha Reeves of the Earth ship Valiant. We're fighting against the Vexari. Who are you? I am Terrell, last survivor of science vessel from Nexer system. The alien's translator seemed to improve as it continued. My people, gone. Homeworld consumed by Vexeri 3 cycles ago. You're not alone, Samantha said. We've rescued survivors from other attacks. Can we bring your ship aboard? In the docking bay, Maya and her Marines stood ready as the alien ship's hatch opened. Zrel emerged, supported by 2 medical officers. The alien was tall and thin, moving with difficulty in Earth's gravity. Thank you, Zrel said, looking around in wonder. I thought I was last of my kind. Have hidden in asteroid field for many days. Feared all civilizations fallen to Vexeri. Dr. Bradley ran a medical scanner over Zrel. You need medical attention, but your physiology is different from ours. Can you guide our treatment? In the ship's conference room, Zrel shared what he knew about the Vexeri. They came to our system without warning. Thousands of ships. We were peaceful, had no weapons to fight. But you survived, Samantha said. I was on research mission when attack began. Watched my world die through long-range scanners. Zrel's large eyes blinked rapidly. But I was not only one to escape. Others from many worlds hide in secret places. Some fight back with what little they have. Jack leaned forward. You know where other survivors are. Zrel nodded. Hidden base in nearby system. Refugees from 12 different species. All victims of Vexeri. For the first time since leaving Earth, Samantha felt real hope. Can you take us there? The hidden base was built inside a massive asteroid, its entrance concealed by holographic technology. The Valiant followed Zrel's ship through a narrow passage that opened into a cavernous space. Inside, dozens of ships from different species were docked along the walls. I never imagined, Elena whispered as they saw the diversity of the refugee fleet. They were met by representatives from various species, some humanoid, others wildly different in form. Their leader was a tall, reptilian being named Krath. So the legends of Earth are true, Krath said, studying the humans with interest. We heard stories of your world, but thought it too distant to be real. We've been fighting the Vexeri, Samantha explained, hitting their outposts, learning their weaknesses, fighting. Krath seemed surprised. Most flee. Few resist. Humans don't give up easily, Maya said. Krath led them deeper into the base, where scientists and engineers from different species work together. We share what little we have. Each brings knowledge. Technology. But we lack weapons. Organization. We can help with that, Samantha said. And in return, perhaps you can help us improve our defenses against the Vexeri. Alliance, Krath said, extending a clawed hand. Together, stronger than alone. As they toured the facility, Dr. Bradley spoke excitedly with alien scientists, each sharing their knowledge of Vexeri biology. Elena found herself surrounded by engineers eager to see human technology. Their propulsion systems are more advanced than ours, she admitted to Samantha later. But they're willing to share. In the command center, Jack worked with the refugees' communication experts. With our combined knowledge, we might be able to predict Vexeri movements, maybe even listen in on their hive communications. Samantha watched her crew integrate with the alien refugees, sharing knowledge and hope. What had begun as a single ship's desperate mission had become something much larger, the foundation of a resistance that spanned multiple species. The Vexeri think they're hunting us, she said to Krath. It's time we showed them what it means to be the hunted. Over the next month, the alliance grew stronger. The Valiant's crew taught combat tactics while learning alien technologies. Ships from the refugee fleet were modified with human weapons, and joint strike teams formed. Together, they hit Vexeri outposts across 3 star systems, freeing captured worlds and gathering more allies. Hive Commander Xtraza grew increasingly obsessed with the human ship that had started this resistance. Reports flowed in from across the collective. Supply lines disrupted, processing centers destroyed, communication relays damaged. For the first time in Vexeri history, their expansion had not only stopped but reversed. Find the human vessel, Xtraza commanded. All other objectives are secondary. On the bridge of the Valiant, Jack Morrison monitored Vexeri communications. "They're changing their patrol patterns," he reported, "focusing resources on hunting us specifically." "Good," Samantha replied. "That means they're no longer expanding. Every day they chase us is a day they're not attacking new worlds." Dr. Bradley entered the bridge with Zrel and Krath. "We've made a breakthrough," he announced. "By combining my neurological disruptor with Zrel's knowledge of bioresonance, we might have a way to sever the Vexeri hive connection permanently." "How would it work?" Samantha asked. "The Vexeri collective is controlled by what Zrel's people call a neural node, essentially a massive biological computer that coordinates the entire hive," Bradley explained. "If we can deliver our combined weapon to that node, we could break their connection across the entire fleet. Their ships would be crippled," Alina added. "Maybe even their individual soldiers too." "Where is this neural node?" Samantha asked. Krath's reptilian face showed concern. "In center of main high ship, most protected place in Vexeri fleet." Samantha studied the tactical display. "Then we need to find a way in." The alien scientists and Alina worked day and night to perfect the weapon, a device that combined the resonance technology with a biological agent that would disrupt the neural pathways of the hive mind. Meanwhile, Jack and the communication experts developed a plan to locate the main high ship. "We'll use their own communication network against them," Jack explained during a strategy meeting. "Every message in their collective passes through the neural node. If we send a strong enough signal and track its path, we can find the main ship." The plan was set in motion. The Alliance fleet prepared for their most dangerous mission yet, a direct assault on the heart of the Vexeri collective. The day before the attack, Samantha found Maya in the ship's gymnasium, training intensely. "Couldn't sleep?" Samantha asked. Maya stopped punching the bag. "Just making sure I'm ready. My team will be delivering the weapon to the neural node. There's no room for error." "I have complete faith in you, Sergeant." "Can I ask you something, Captain?" Maya wiped sweat from her face. "Do you think we can really win this? Not just survive, but actually defeat them?" Samantha considered the question. "A month ago, I would have said our mission was just to gather intelligence and return to Earth. Now," she looked around at the ship that had become home. "Now I believe we're fighting for something bigger than just our own survival. We're fighting for every species that wants to determine its own future." In the early hours of the next day, the Alliance fleet gathered. 27 ships from 13 different species, all modified with a mix of technologies. At their center was the U.S. Valiant, battle-scared but still powerful. "All ships report ready, Captain," Jack announced. "Send the signal," Samantha ordered. A powerful burst of energy pulsed from the Valiant, designed to travel along the Vexeri communication pathways directly to the neural node. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then Jack's console lit up. "Signal traced," he exclaimed. "I have coordinates for the main high ship. It's heading straight for us." On the main screen, a massive vessel appeared, larger than any they had encountered before. Surrounded by hundreds of smaller ships, it moved through space with terrible purpose. "They detected our trace signal," Alina said. "They know exactly where we are." Krath hissed in dismay. "It is trap. They lured us out." Samantha stood from her captain's chair. "No, they're doing exactly what we wanted, bringing the neural node to us." She turned to her crew. "All stations, battle positions. Inform the Alliance fleet. This is what we've been waiting for." The massive Vexeri fleet approached, weapons charged. On the bridge of the mothership, Kraza felt satisfaction flow through the collective consciousness. The troublesome humans had finally revealed themselves, along with the refugee vermin they had collected. Today, the Vexeri would eliminate all resistance in a single decisive strike. What Kraza couldn't know was that the humans had one final card to play, one that would change the course of the war forever. Space lit up with weapons fire as the Alliance fleet engaged the Vexeri armada. Despite being outnumbered, The modified ships fought with coordinated tactics that confused the hive mind. The Valiant led the attack, its pulse cannons firing continuously as it pushed toward the massive mothership. Shields at 60%. Jack reported as the ship shuddered from enemy fire. "We can't take much more of this." "We don't need to," Samantha replied. "We just need to get Maya's team close enough to board the high ship." In the launch bay, Maya Phillips and her strike team prepared for departure. Her squad had grown to include warriors from 3 different species, each chosen for their specific skills. The combined neural disruptor device was secured in a protective case. "Everyone clear on the mission?" Maya asked, checking her weapons one last time. "We get in, reach the central chamber, plant the device, and get out. The Valiant will only be able to maintain position for 20 minutes. Alina's voice came through the comm system. "The resonance field is ready. It should create a temporary blind spot in their defenses, but it won't last long." "That's all we need," Maya replied. "Launch when ready." The shuttle bay doors opened, and 3 small craft shot out into the chaos of battle. On the bridge, Samantha watched anxiously as the strike team's shuttles weaved through enemy fire toward the high ship. "Resonance field active," Elena reported from engineering. A wave of energy pulsed from the Valiant, temporarily disrupting the nearby Vexari vessels. The massive high ship shuddered, and a section of its organic defense shield flickered. "There's our opening," Jack said. "Sector 7 of the mothership is vulnerable." "Maya, you have your target," Samantha transmitted. "Godspeed." The lead shuttle, piloted by Maya herself, accelerated toward the vulnerable section of the high ship. Vexari defensive fire intensified, but the small craft was too fast and agile. With a controlled crash, the shuttle breached the outer hull of the mothership. Maya and her team emerged into the strange, pulsing corridors of the Vexari vessel. Unlike the outposts they had raided before, every surface here seemed alive, reacting to their presence. "Move fast," Maya ordered. "We have 19 minutes before extraction." They encountered resistance almost immediately. Vexari drones swarmed toward them, but the team was prepared. Using the neural disruptors Dr. Bradley had developed, they cleared a path deeper into the ship. On the high ship's command deck, Skatraza felt the intruder's presence through the collective. "Seal all pathways to the neural node," the commander ordered. "Deploy the human-adapted warriors." Maya's team rounded a corner and stopped in shock. Blocking their path were Vexari soldiers, but with disturbingly human features, the results of the genetic experiments they had discovered at the outpost. "They're using our own against us," one of Maya's Marines whispered. "They're abominations, not humans," Maya replied grimly. "And we're putting them out of their misery." The battle through the ship grew more desperate as time ticked away. 2 of Maya's team fell to enemy fire, but they pushed forward, following the signal from Dr. Bradley's scanner toward the neural node. Outside, the Alliance fleet was taking heavy damage. 3 of their ships had been destroyed, and others were crippled. The Valiant's shields were failing under the concentrated fire of the Vexari vessels. "We can't hold this position much longer," Jack warned. "We have to," Samantha insisted. "Just a few more minutes." Inside the mothership, Maya's team finally reached a massive chamber. At its center pulsed a giant organic structure, part brain, part computer, connected to thousands of tendrils that extended throughout the ship. "That's it," Maya said. "The neural node." She unpacked the device while her remaining team members held off waves of Vexari defenders. The timer was set for 5 minutes, just enough time to escape if they moved quickly. "Device planted," Maya reported through her comm. "Beginning extraction." The team fought their way back toward their entry point, but the ship's corridors were shifting, changing direction as the hive mind attempted to trap them. "The ship is adapting," Maya realized. "We need another way out." In engineering, Alina had an idea. "Captain, what if we use the resonance weapon at full power? Not just to disrupt their shields, but to create a structural weakness Maya could use to escape." "Do it," Samantha ordered. The Valiant's engines strained as all power was diverted to the resonance emitter. A focused beam struck the hive ship near Maya's position, creating a rupture in the organic hull. "Maya, new exit point marked on your scanner," Jack transmitted. 30 seconds until the neural disruptor activates. Maya and her 3 surviving team members sprinted toward the new opening, firing continuously to keep the pursuing Vexeri at bay. With a final desperate leap, they jumped from the rupture into space. Seconds later, their emergency transport beacons activated, and the Valiant's tractor beam pulled them to safety. The neural disruptor detonated, sending waves of energy throughout the high ship. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Across the battlefield, Vexeri vessels suddenly lost coordination, some drifting aimlessly, others firing wildly at nothing. "It's working," Dr. Bradley exclaimed, watching the sensor readings. "The hive connection is breaking down." The mothership itself began to convulse, sections of its organic structure dying while others fought to maintain control. Inside, Skatraza struggled against the wave of confusion sweeping through the collective mind. For the first time in its existence, the commander experienced true isolation as the voices of the hive went silent. "All Alliance ships, target the mothership's propulsion systems," Samantha ordered. "Let's finish this." The combined firepower of the remaining Alliance vessels focused on the now vulnerable high ship. Explosions rippled across its surface as critical systems failed. With a final, massive detonation, the central power core ruptured, sending the ship breaking apart in a blinding flash. As debris scattered across space, the remaining Vexeri vessels drifted aimlessly or turned on each other, their coordinated purpose lost with the destruction of the neural node. On the Valiant's bridge, the crew watched in exhausted silence as their enemy disintegrated before them. "We did it," Jack said quietly. "We actually did it." Samantha nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "Send word to all Alliance ships. The Vexeri threat has been neutralized." She looked around at her battered but unbowed crew. "It's time to go home." As the Valiant set course for Earth, none of them noticed a small escape pod ejecting from the dying high ship. Inside, suspended in a regeneration chamber, Skatraza floated in stasis. The commander's body was changing, adapting, evolving, and deep in its compound eyes, a new determination was forming, a promise of return, of revenge, and of a new hive that would rise from the ashes of defeat.